What if the power to change the world didn't lie in armies or empires, but in voices, defiance, and relentless perseverance? Across centuries and continents, there have been women whose courage, intellect, and actions didn't just make headlines. They reshaped the course of history. These 5 women did not rule by fear or force. They influenced humanity with the force of vision and the tenacity of spirit. Today, we look at 5 women who altered history forever. Our story begins in ancient Egypt, where a woman ruled an empire torn between decline and domination. Cleopatra VII, the last active pharaoh of Egypt, was not only a political tactician but a master of cultural and personal diplomacy. She was born into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek lineage that had ruled Egypt since the death of Alexander the Great. At just 18, she co-ruled with her brother but quickly maneuvered to become the sole ruler. Cleopatra understood the fragile position of Egypt as Rome grew into the dominant force of the Mediterranean. She captivated Julius Caesar not only with her famed beauty but her sharp political mind. Their alliance restored her to the throne and secured peace for a time. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra aligned with Mark Antony. Their union challenged Rome's power structure, prompting Octavian's war against them. Their defeat marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and Egypt's annexation by Rome. Yet Cleopatra's legacy isn't just scandal and seduction. She spoke multiple languages, led naval campaigns, and elevated Egyptian identity amidst Greek dominance. She remains a symbol of feminine power, political shrewdness, and national pride. Could one queen hold the fate of the Roman world in her hands and nearly succeed? Marie Curie. From the marble palaces of Egypt, we shift to the soot-streaked laboratories of early 20th century Europe. Here, science and brilliance collided in one of the most extraordinary minds of all time, Marie Curie. Born in Warsaw, Poland, Curie fought through the gendered barriers of education, often studying in secret. She moved to Paris, graduated top of her class, and married fellow physicist Pierre Curie. Together, they discovered 2 previously unknown elements, polonium and radium. Marie coined the term radioactivity and developed methods to isolate radioactive isotopes. Her research was dangerous. She often carried radioactive samples in her pockets, unaware of the risks. In 1903, she became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. In 1911, she won another, the first and only person to win Nobels in 2 different sciences. Her discoveries not only paved the way for X-rays and cancer treatments, but also redefined women's place in science. She defied societal norms, endured institutional sexism, and pursued knowledge at the cost of her health. To this day, her notebooks remain radioactive. What drives someone to sacrifice everything, even their life, for the pursuit of truth? Rosa Parks. While Marie Curie pushed against the walls of academia, Rosa Parks confronted a very different wall, one built from hatred, segregation, and silence. In Montgomery, Alabama, in 1955, Rosa Parks was a seamstress and NAACP secretary. She was quiet, reserved, but deeply determined. One day, she refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a segregated bus. That single act of defiance catalyzed the Montgomery bus boycott, which lasted over a year and crippled the city's transit system. Her arrest sparked national attention. Parks became a symbol of dignity under fire, not because she raised her voice, but because she stood her ground. She wasn't the first to protest bus segregation, but her character, timing, and resolve ignited a movement that would launch Martin Luther King Jr. to prominence and change American civil rights forever. Even after the boycott, she continued working for racial justice, equality, and social change for decades. Parks taught us that resistance doesn't always come with fists. Sometimes, it comes from a single, powerful no. Could you spark a revolution just by staying in your seat? Malala Yousafzai. Fast forward to the 21st century, where one girl defied an army of silence. Malala Yousafzai grew up in Pakistan's Swat Valley, where the Taliban imposed brutal control, banning girls from attending school. At just 11 years old, Malala began blogging anonymously for the BBC, detailing the fear and injustice in her region. Her words carried far beyond her village. They drew international attention, and one day, the Taliban struck back. Malala was shot in the head on her way home from school. She survived. Not only did she survive, she transformed. Malala became a global advocate for girls' education, speaking at the UN, founding the Malala Fund, and becoming the youngest ever Nobel Peace Prize laureate at 17. She continues to advocate for the 130 million girls worldwide denied education. Malala's story is not just about survival, it's about transformation. In her quiet bravery, she rekindled a global movement for empowerment through education. What if your voice, even as a child, could shake the foundations of tyranny? Ada Lovelace. Before silicon chips and modern supercomputers, one woman glimpsed the digital age in a world lit by gas lamps. Ada Lovelace, the daughter of the poet Lord Byron, was raised in a highly academic environment by her mother, who was determined that Ada avoid her father's romantic chaos by focusing on mathematics and logic. Lovelace's work with Charles Babbage on his proposed analytical engine, the world's first mechanical general-purpose computer, led her to write what is now considered the first computer algorithm. She saw beyond numbers. She envisioned how machines could manipulate symbols and be used for more than mere calculations. In essence, she imagined the concept of software more than a century before the digital revolution. Her work was largely forgotten for generations, but modern computer science has reclaimed her as a visionary. Ada Lovelace laid the groundwork for the digital world we now live in. What if the future of computers was written not in code, but in the cursive of a 19th century woman? These 5 women spanned thousands of years, 5 cultures, and 5 battles against conquest, ignorance, injustice, oppression, and obscurity. But they share something greater than the sum of their influence. They dared to challenge the world as it was, and push it toward what it could become. Cleopatra wielded intellect as her scepter. Marie Curie embraced the unknown to heal the world. Rosa Parks sat still to move a nation. Malala wrote the truth in the face of bullets. Ada Lovelace dreamed up the digital age with ink and paper. These are not just women of history. They are blueprints of possibility. Their courage lights a path for future generations. Their voices echo in classrooms, laboratories, streets, and the code of our computers. From the banks of the Nile to Nobel ceremonies, from bus rides to blogs, each of these women ignited change. Their stories call to us to stand firm, to stay curious, to speak out, and to create. So we ask again, which of them will inspire you to take your next step? If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel, CyberTheo. Powerful stories like these deserve to be heard, not just remembered in textbooks or museum halls, but carried into conversations, classrooms, and futures where they inspire new acts of courage and innovation. They are living legacies that remind us that history isn't just what happened, it's what we choose to keep alive.